Corla. I think the vision conjured up by Deputy Ross of the Irish delegation going cap in hand and doffing the cap to the European establishment is certainly one that we could all visualise, and it is a tragedy and it's a particular disgrace against the backdrop of what's going on in Europe at the moment. A refugee crisis where the European response has been too little, too late, but particularly has ignored the reality that it isn't really the Europe that has a migrant crisis, but the migrants that have a crisis and a problem with Europe and with the military interventions by your allies and friends in the United States, which have been one of the key reasons as to why there are so many refugees in the first place. And I think, Minister, you would do well at that meeting to remind your European counterparts of that, but also to recognise within that Ireland's role and complicity as well by allowing the US military to continue to use Shannon in a manner in which, as Dr. Tom Clonan has described it now, as operating as a virtual forward air base for the American military. And yet you want to pat on the back for accepting 4,000. I'm glad we're accepting 4,000 refugees. I see the Minister for Justice last week said that these are not going to be in the direct provision system, clearly acknowledging that the government couldn't humiliate themselves with the ideas of refugees and war victims coming from Syria being put up in a few caravans in Mosney wouldn't be looking too good, but it might help you put the focus on the fact that there are people in those conditions now, and you have to address that reality as well. I think if Europe wants to go forward, it has to look at where it came from. And you might put it to your European colleagues that what did they think was going to happen when they started channeling money away from trying to help people into building walls and fences, cutting the Mare Nostrum programme and replacing it with Operating Triton, which in a large part is about border control and not really humanitarian refugee support whatsoever. I welcome the fact that the solid programme has been reformed a bit, but the reality is that most of the expenditure that Europe is making is going on border controls, not assisting the emigrants, and that is not going to be a way forward in the future. I'm wondering, are you going to make those points? Are you going to bring up at that meeting the fact now and support the call for an independent investigation into the war crime that happened in the MSF hospital in Afghanistan? Are you going to call for that and for an independent investigation there? 22 people, including 3 children, butchered, people burnt in their beds in that atrocity. And what position are you going to take? Maybe that's something you could take a lead on for a change.
Thank you, Deputy.